the Gospel of Luke. Now as the time drew near for him to be taken up to heaven, he resolutely took the road for Jerusalem and sent messengers ahead of him. These set out, and they went into a Samaritan town to make preparations for him. But people would not receive him, because he was making for Jerusalem. Seeing this, the disciples James and John said, "Lord, do you want us to call down fire from heaven to burn them up?" But he turned and rebuked them, and they went off to another village. As they travelled along, they met a man on the road who said to him, "I will follow you wherever you go." Jesus answered, "Foxes have holes and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head." Another, to whom he said, "Follow me," replied, "Let me go and bury my father first." But he answered, "Leave the dead to bury their dead. Your duty is to go and spread the good news of the kingdom of God." Another said, "I will follow you, sir, but first let me go and say goodbye to my people at home." Jesus said to him, "Once the hand is laid on the plough, no one who looks back is fit for the kingdom of God." The Gospel of the Lord. How many encumbrances do I have? What do I hold on to that I need to let go of in order to be a real follower of Jesus? These are the questions that come to me as I reflect on this piece of scripture. Of course, all of us have things that we have to have, things that we have to do. And Jesus is not denying that we have our responsibilities and our burdens of office and our daily lives to lead. But what he's inviting us to do is to follow him wholeheartedly in those daily lives, to put our hand to the plough and to keep walking and not look back. And yet, when the going gets tough, how often do I think, oh, might be easier if I didn't have to do this, or if I didn't sense that I was being asked to do that, or if somebody didn't ring me and ask me, could I please come and help them? It's one of those things that I find I struggle with at times, and other times I'm easy with. I guess it's like all of the Christian life. It's a matter of making constant choices, and of making choices and then living with the consequences. So when they went into the Samaritan town and they said they were going to Jerusalem, and they weren't well received because the Samaritans were foreigners or strangers and they didn't want Jews who were going to Jerusalem, the disciples were all for raining down thunder and lightning and hellfire and brimstone. And Jesus says, no, don't do that, don't do it. So it's like when things go wrong and somebody crosses me or puts too much pressure on me, how do I handle that? Do I follow Jesus' way of the kingdom, which is a way of peace and letting go? Or do I want to be like the disciples and wreak my vengeance? In my daily life, when I'm confronted with a choice and one way seems more difficult and the other way seems easier, previously I would have said that God was asking me to do the more difficult thing. Now I'm not so sure. I don't think God necessarily asks us to do the more difficult thing. Sometimes it will be, but other times it may not be. It's where is my energy, where is my God-given gift at this moment? And it may be in the one that draws me out and calls me on with more joy in my heart. So one of the lessons I take out of this is to is to be quiet and do some patient discernment sometimes. That's for the big things, not for the immediate, on-the-spot things. But just to listen and say, well, where is Jesus inviting me? What is the call I'm experiencing at this moment? And then to go with that. And I know from experience that if I've followed the way that Jesus has wanted me to follow, I will experience a deep peace. And maybe I'll be worn out at the end of the day, but it will be a happy tiredness, a resting in God.